I'm here today to talk to you about a magical word that is going to change every aspect of your life, every area of your life. Consistency. I often talk about consistency and the importance of consistency and staying consistent. And today I want to talk to you about why and how it's going to change everything. It's the biggest game changer. We are creatures of habit. We have a routine that we follow every day, even if we might not be aware of that. We do things habitually. And if we want to change our life, we want to improve, we want things to be better for ourselves, we have to understand that we have to stay consistent in the behavior that we want, either from ourselves or in others, in order to achieve that. You cannot achieve anything without consistency. Most people know that when it comes to specifically training or working out, that they don't get results because they usually give up 2 weeks in and they say, well, I tried and it didn't work. And we often see this as the cause, right? It didn't work after I tried said thing. Not understanding that consistency was the piece that was missing. That is why consistency is the biggest game changer in what we're trying to do, especially in training. Of course, it's not the only puzzle piece. It's a whole puzzle. It's often the missing piece for people. Of course, what you're doing is important too. If you're going to the gym and staring at the wall for an hour and you do that consistently for 6 months and you say, well, I didn't get any results. I was going to the gym. I think it's so funny, but it's honestly a real thing that I've seen people do. They'll go to the gym, they'll stand there for a while. I've seen people get on a bike for 10 minutes and they're confused about not getting results. I think it's kind of funny, but there are people who really believe that is enough. Of course, what you are doing is an important aspect, but consistency is the thing that I wish more people would understand will change your entire life. I want to talk about parenting. Parenting has become a bit of a hot topic, maybe we could say, with gentle parenting becoming quite mainstream, and people are now starting to complain about it and that it's not enough. Kids are not being disciplined. And as a non-parent, I'm going to throw my opinion into the fire here, risk my own safety. People get very mad about this topic. It's really funny to me because not only parents, but especially parents get very defensive about this particular topic because they say, well, you don't know what it's like until you're a parent, right? And it's the only time where we kind of accept that as a response. But if somebody is a dog trainer, no one's going to say, oh, well, just wait till you own your own dog, or just wait until you have yada, yada, yada. So parenting seems to be the exception. And I understand, of course, being a parent versus being a caretaker of any kind, a babysitter or whatever, is different because you're part-time versus doing it full-time. I understand it's different. But as someone who has been nannying for probably 15 years, I've been babysitting since I was a kid myself. I have a lot of experience with children, especially really, really young children and babies and toddlers. And I know that the biggest thing that parents struggle with is consistency in their parenting. And of course, I don't want to be a person that gives unsolicited advice. I'm not going to walk up to somebody and say, hey, you're doing this wrong. That's never appreciated. maybe it is for some people, but most people have too much of an ego to receive unsolicited advice in a positive manner. We don't like to be told what to do. We don't like to be told that we're doing something wrong. But consistency in parenting, going back to that, is important because children are humans, as we like to forget that they're just people, they're just little people, and they pick up on patterns of behavior, they pick up on routine, and they need that. We all know children need structure and routine. But the problem I see in almost every family I've worked for, and I've worked with dozens and dozens of families, hundreds of children, is the lack of consistency. And I can tell that the children are confused because the parents say, hey, if you don't do this, this is going to happen, and they don't follow through. So there's a lack of consistency in the discipline, and kids are smart. They pick up on that, and they know that, oh, well, mom isn't being serious. I'm going to get my own way. So children have figured out how to rule the household. And I think that is where we're seeing a lot of, I guess, critique or upset people, because children are just being rambunctious and crazy, and they're not really being controlled or parented by their parents. And I can agree. It's quite frustrating to see how we've gotten to this point where this gentle parenting movement took over, and it's being done incorrectly, unfortunately. I think people think gentle parenting and they think no discipline, which isn't really what it's about. It's not really being applied correctly, unfortunately. It could have been a great thing to combat all our generational trauma and all this BS that a lot of us went through when we grew up, and inheriting our parents and their parents' trauma. But that's not really what happened. It kind of went too far, and it became just this movement of raising children who are free to do whatever they want when they want it, and it's unfortunate. I believe the biggest game changer is in consistency, because if you parent your children and you're inconsistent in your parenting style, children will learn. They will learn to take control of you because they know that you don't mean what you say. When we follow through with what we say we're going to do, especially as parents, children learn to respect that. They don't respect inconsistencies. Children are our greatest reminders of things that we have become loose on and become sloppy about as adults. Children come along to remind us. And I think if we really pay attention, they're really good about that. Children will call out lies and unfairness really quickly. And if adults understood the lack of consistency being a major root cause for a lot of the issues that they have in their life, I think they would see a huge difference, like I said, in every aspect of life. So parenting is obviously a big one, but also in trusting yourself and becoming a better friend and better person in all your relationships. We lie to ourselves constantly. People say, oh, I'm an honest person, I don't lie. Yet they lie to themselves every day about the things that they say they're going to do. Oh yeah, I got to do this later. I got to go to the gym. I have to do this. I have to eat healthier. I'm going to have... And they become so used to their own lies and BS that they no longer pick up on it. They don't see it as an issue because it's just become a habit to just lie to yourself about everything that you say you're going to do. Now I know, Nikki, life is hard and you don't understand what it's like to be a parent and all that. And of course, I'm not even here to comment on that. I understand as a non-parent, I don't know what it's like to be a parent. I don't know how hard it is. I have had tastes of it with being a nanny for as long as I have been, babysitter. But yes, I still don't know just how difficult it is to parent your own child. Fair enough. But it would be far easier if you have the right tools, as is anything in life. Everything is much harder when we don't do things properly. And there's not one correct way to do things, but there are always better ways and better methods. And I think consistency is one of the biggest game changers, which is obviously why I made a whole topic talking about it today. We need to become consistent in what we say, and our words need to match our actions. If we make promises, we have to keep them. And like I was saying, I know it's hard and people are like, oh, but you don't know how hard it is. But then you need to lower your expectations and lower your promises. When I'm recording, I always hear airplanes and helicopters and traffic and noise. But then when I go back to edit, you don't hear anything at all. So I'm very curious to see or hear if the microphone picked up on the helicopter that just passed. I always get so distracted by my surroundings. I don't know if I'm ADHD or something. As I was saying, it's so much harder to do things when you're not doing them correctly. It's already hard. It's already hard to do life, to be a parent, to be a good person, to make healthy choices. Those things are already really hard. But if we have the right tools, it makes it easier. And I think focusing on being consistent is going to change everything for yourself. And again, I'm a big believer in small steps, baby steps. Just do the bare minimum, do little things. I think so often we don't set simple goals for ourselves because we think that it isn't enough and we're comparing to somebody else who's going to judge us for setting such simple goals. If you weren't going to do anything anyway, isn't it better to have a small, simple, achievable goal that you can stick to than setting a big goal and not doing it at all? That to me should be the focus. Focus on what you are capable of doing. What do you have access to right now? Your resources with your time, your money, everything. What can you do? You cannot do it all at once. When we start off, we cannot have it all to begin with, but we can do the best with what we have. Like I said, consistency will change every area of your life. That includes all your relationships, especially the one with yourself. I think a lot of people have a problem being consistent with their self. They try to make all these promises to other people, and they might be saying, yeah, well, we should totally hang out later. I hate that phrase. I hate we should totally hang out sometime. It feels fake to me because often it's something that is being said to sound polite and it's not coming from sincerity. And maybe for some people it is. Maybe they genuinely want to hang out with this person. But I would rather somebody say to me, hey, Nikki, there's this event on Friday. It's at 7. Do you want to come? Because it's based in something real and it's an actual event that's occurring. When people speak in a hypothetical way and they say things like maybe or someday or we should or it would be nice, to me, it translates as somebody who is inconsistent in what they do and they aren't very confident. Confidence stems from being consistent. Consistent people are confident. When you are not confident and you're insecure as a person, it probably stems from you having problems following through with what you commit to. So it makes you feel small and insecure. We don't become confident because we look good. I mean, of course, that can help. But confidence stems from being consistent and doing what you say you're going to do. So if you're struggling with that, again, I keep reiterating, but please start small. Start with something that you can actually achieve and watch your confidence grow. And as you become more confident in yourself, you can set higher goals because you know you can believe in yourself and trust yourself to actually follow through with what you say you're going to do. That is an excellent tool for growing more confident. I think often people say things like just be more confident or trust yourself more, and they say these empty phrases, but nobody really tells you how to do that. How you do something is more important than just telling somebody, just do it, just do this thing. Well, it's like, how do I do that? What's the technique? What do I need to do? That's my advice to you. Really take a look at your everyday habits and how consistent you are in what you say you're going to do, and understand that that's how people are going to start trusting you more, because they see that you're actually consistent and you do the things you say you're going to do, you follow through. It's also contagious. If you're trying to change somebody, you can't tell them to do these things. I know the irony of me sitting and telling you this, but we cannot ultimately tell other people to do it. We can tell ourselves these messages that this is what I'm going to do for me, and hopefully it'll rub off on people. And it often does. The way we act, and I'm sure you've seen this in your friend groups and the people you surround yourself with, you've probably seen how your habits and behaviors rub off on those that you spend time with, and B, you've probably seen how their habits and behaviors rub off on you. I also think that romantic relationships will greatly benefit from consistency. A lot of frustrations that people have in their romantic partner is that they don't follow through with what they say they're going to do. The common fights with taking the trash out and doing the dishes, the little everyday day-to-day tasks. Those are often frustrations and fights that couples have because they're not consistent. They don't do this thing they say they're going to do. Oh, yeah, I'll do that later. Oh, yeah, I promise I'm going to do that. Become consistent. That is also how people grow to respect you. People respect people who are honest and don't just say that they're an honest person, but they actually prove it through their actions. I usually say, my belief, if you have to say the thing, you're probably not the thing. If you have to convince somebody that you're doing something, you're probably not doing it. For as long as I am alive on this earth, I will be preaching consistency. It will change your life. I'm telling you, I used to be a person that wasn't very confident. I had a false sense of confidence, and often people who are insecure adopt a false sense of confidence, and that confidence is very fragile because it's not real. It's not built on anything substantial. It's a facade, and you're trying to cover up your insecurities, and those people often get their egos bruised very easily. They don't handle critique well. If you say something to them, they're going to get very defensive and say, things to make themselves look good. And I think it's useless. I really do. I think the best thing you can do is focus on bettering yourself and not focus your time and attention on convincing other people that you are whatever you want to say that you are, that you're confident, or that you're, whatever it is. But specifically when it comes to this topic, you prove to people through your actions and following through with things you say you're going to do. I'm telling you, it's going to change every area of your life. If you're a parent, if you have a romantic partner, it's going to change everything. Good luck to you. We'll talk soon.